Welcome to the theater of the absurd. Greetings, distinguished netizens of the digital realm. You're cordially invited to an imaginary world. A world where science, politics, and a sprinkle of love, or at least chemical attraction, collide. If you've ever wondered how far human innovation could go to solve complex social issues, wonder no more. But before we tumble down this rabbit hole, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, because trust me, this journey is going to get wild. A loving solution to public outrage. Lovonia, a landlocked, Eastern European gem tucked away amid geopolitical giants. Here's a country where every parliament session seems like a Thanksgiving dinner debate and where public protests are practically a national sport. You'd think the government would be all about suppression, right? Wrong. Because, in Lovonia, they took a more enlightened approach. Instead of investing in riot gear and surveillance drones, they decided to tackle public unrest with love. Yes, you heard me right, love, that timeless weapon wielded by bards and poets. Picture this. Government laboratories, usually the domains of pocket protector-wearing nerds fiddling with nanotechnology and cloning sheep, turned overnight into Cupid's arsenals. It was like a rom-com plot written by Orwell. Bright-eyed chemists found themselves as modern matchmakers, spinning not the web of the next supermaterial, but that of love in aerosol form. Their ingredient list? A melange of oxytocin for instant bonding, pheromones for animalistic attraction, and just a sprinkling of dopamine to seal the romantic deal. Now, let's talk about the application. Instead of tear gas canisters designed to cause streaming eyes and temporary blindness, we got love in a bottle, capable of causing immediate emotional clarity. Riot police were rebranded as love brigades. Forget the batons and shields, their new armory included spray bottles and grenades filled with the love bomb formula. Their vans, once intimidating, were now covered in psychedelic patterns and slogans like "Make love, not war." And oh, the societal transformations. Streets that had once echoed with shouts of civil discontent now hummed with the tones of Marvin Gaye. The typical protest scenes transformed into what looked like extras from a musical, where even the crustiest anarchists locked eyes with the sternest law officers, melting their mutual suspicions away in a tender embrace. Imagine burly guys in leather jackets suddenly whispering sweet nothings to armored police officers. Conflict zones turned into flash mobs where everyone, irrespective of their initial reasons for being there, became comrades in this newfound fellowship. The beauty, or perhaps the devilish detail, was in the chemistry. While traditional riot control measures relied on short-term physical irritation, the love bomb struck at the emotional core. It tinkered with neurotransmitters and hormonal balances, rendering its effects far more profound and, ironically, peaceful. Police no longer needed to restrain crowds, they merely had to unite them in an overpowering sense of communal affection. Of course, the government patted itself on the back. A press release claimed a massive drop in vandalism, a plummet in arrests, and a strange uptick in public marriage proposals. For a brief, intoxicating moment, it seemed like Lovonia had cracked the code to eternal public harmony. Overdose of affection. A love bomb odyssey. Hold on, because what comes next is a heartthrob of a plot twist, one that not even Shakespeare would have dared to pen. Yes, Lovonia's love bomb was a resounding success, but like any pioneering tech, it came with bugs. Think of it as Love Bomb 1.0 in a beta test gone wildly public. This wasn't merely a game changer, it was a Pandora's box doused in pheromones and packaged in romantic suspense. Initially, the love bomb seemed like a fairy tale solution, magically melting down years of social, political, and ideological ice. However, not all lived happily ever after. For starters, the love bomb didn't discriminate. It wasn't just an anarchist meets a police officer in a sudden twist of romantic fate. Oh no, it was grandmother locking eyes with the postman, teachers smitten with random pedestrians, and conservative activists finding themselves irresistibly drawn to their ideological nemeses. Now, you might be thinking, well, love conquers all, right? That's where you'd be wrong. You see, the love bomb's chemistry was complex, but human society? Even more so. When people from opposing political, social, or religious backgrounds found themselves emotionally glued to each other, the panic buttons were well and truly smashed. Just picture a traditionally conservative man, who had spent years marching in anti-LGBTQ rallies, suddenly discovering he couldn't resist holding hands with another man during a protest. The cognitive dissonance was like a backflip off the high dive into an empty pool. And in some cases, the love bomb wasn't just making people hold hands or exchange warm glances, it was leading to overt acts of intimacy in broad daylight. Suddenly, public squares became stages for PG-13 activities, and politicians had to appear on news channels debating not just policy but also the ethics of public affection. Now, let's not forget the more sinister social gamers who wanted a hit of this new societal drug. Counterculture groups and rebels started organizing their own protests, not against any policy or injustice, but just to savor the love bomb's effects. It was like Woodstock mixed with a scientific experiment, with a dash of social anarchy for flavor. Feminist groups denounced the love bomb as a manipulation of free will. Ethicists held emergency symposiums on the complexity of manufactured emotions. And do you know who had a field day? Lawyers. Oh, the lawsuits filed over love bomb-induced transgressions kept legal offices busier than a cat in a yarn store. So, as it turned out, Lovonia's miracle solution was a labyrinth of ethical quandaries and unintended romantic alliances. Their utopian dream had slipped into a chaotic dramedy, with Cupid's arrow hitting targets it was never intended for. A global affair. The geopolitics of love. When Cupid goes tactical. Now we've come to the part where love doesn't just make the world go round, it potentially brings it to a screeching halt. Imagine, if you will, international diplomats trying to navigate a geopolitical landscape while dizzy with affection. Welcome to the era where strategic alliances could be determined not by shared interests, but by who fell victim to the love bomb first. When news of Lovonia's love bomb went viral, world leaders didn't just raise their eyebrows, they raised their military budgets. Sure, Lovonia was just a small Eastern European country, but their invention had suddenly turned them into the Belgium of World War I, a small player holding the key to global warfare. Remember the space race? It was child's play compared to this. The United States, the United Kingdom, and France. Let's call them Team Cupid. Or frantically meeting behind closed doors. Across the world, China, Russia, and North Korea. Let's whimsically label them Team Heartbreaker. We're doing the same. Only this time, it wasn't a race to the moon or mastery over AI, it was a race to control love, the oldest and most potent force known to humanity. Now, the idea of weaponizing love made even the most battle-hardened generals pause and ponder. Could the love bomb end wars, or would it ignite new ones based on new, emotionally charged boundaries? What would happen if you dropped a love bomb on a tense border dispute? Would the soldiers embrace and start writing joint poetry, or would the complex military hierarchies collapse into chaos, leading to unpredictable anarchy? And then there were the nation-states where matters of the heart were already legislated to an extreme. We're talking about countries where holding hands in public could land you in jail or worse. The love bomb posed an existential threat to their moral fabric, forcing them to question whether they should adjust their laws or risk internal strife. It's one thing to ban books or censor movies, but banning a pervasive emotion that could seep through your borders is a different challenge altogether. Legal experts, ethicists, even quantum physicists were brought in to understand the implications. Because, let's face it, when a love bomb explodes, the boundaries of known science blur with the mystic. YouTube channels hosted debates that went viral, fueled by pop culture icons who suddenly found themselves experts in love psychology. Confectioners began crafting love bomb-themed cakes. Gaming companies started developing first-person lover video games based on a world ruled by love bombs. And here comes the ultimate twist: secret intelligence agencies realized the love bomb had espionage potential. Imagine turning an enemy spy with just a whiff of gas, or making foreign diplomats spill state secrets while in a state of emotional vulnerability. The spy games were about to become love games, and nobody knew the rules. The world stood at the brink, not of a Cold War, but of an emotionally charged hot war. A war where the arsenal was not made up of bullets and bombs, but of feelings, longing, and involuntary affection. Alright, that's a wrap. If this video tickled your intellectual funny bone, do hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. And here's something to ponder: could love, even artificially induced, be a viable solution to humanity's woes? Or is it a ticking time bomb of ethical quandaries? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.